Hello and welcome. Today, we are going to pull back the curtain on one of the most intense, most crucial phases of any hotel opening, taking the back of house from just an empty shell to a fully operational, high-performance service engine. This is the moment where millions of dollars in investment become a tangible reality, and we're going to break down the exact sequence that makes it all happen. So let's dive right in. And for all of you as future leaders in hospitality, this is absolutely essential knowledge. It's what bridges that gap between classroom theory and the high-stakes, fast-paced reality of hotel operations. So here's our roadmap for today. First, we'll get into why this final phase is so incredibly critical. Then we'll walk through the 4 key stages, step by step, installing all the physical hardware, stress testing its performance, programming the digital brain of the whole operation, the POS, and finally, running the ultimate simulation that ties every single piece together. All right, let's start with the big picture, the critical final phase. This is that magical moment where months, sometimes even years, of planning and design finally become a physical reality. It's where all those blueprints and massive investment budgets transform into the functional, high-output kitchens and bars that will drive your business. And listen, the stakes here, they couldn't be higher. This quote really says it all. As the F&B leader on site, you're not just a supervisor. You are the last line of defense. A single mistake, a gas line that's not quite right, an oven that's miscalibrated, that can create a huge ripple effect, causing incredibly costly delays and putting the entire opening schedule at risk. Precision, right from day one, is completely non-negotiable. So how do you even begin to manage all this complexity? Well, you follow a clear 4-step sequence that builds everything from the ground up. First, you install the physical hardware. Then you test it rigorously. At the same time, you're programming the digital systems. And finally, you simulate a real live service to make absolutely sure it all works together seamlessly. Let's get into that first step. We're now at hardware installation and verification. You can think of this as literally laying the physical foundation of your entire operation. Every single piece of equipment, from a tiny ice machine to a giant walk-in freezer, has a precise home and a very specific set of needs that have to be met perfectly. Now, this is not a one-person job, not even close. It's a carefully coordinated effort, almost like a dance. The F&B leader is the project manager, working side by side with the chief engineer on all the utilities, with the equipment vendors for their specialized technical knowledge, and of course, with the executive chef and their team, because they're the ones who will be using this equipment every single day. This table here really highlights the incredible level of detail we're talking about. It is not just about plugging things in. For a combi oven, we're checking gas lines and electrical circuits to make sure they don't fail during a busy dinner service. For refrigerators, we have to ensure they hold HACCP CCP compliant temperatures. That's the global standard for preventing foodborne illness. And that last check is so important, making sure every piece is placed exactly where the blueprint says it should be, because that design dictates the entire workflow and efficiency of your kitchen. Okay, once everything is installed, we move to performance testing. This phase, which we call commissioning in the industry, is where we certify that the equipment is truly fit for its purpose. It's all about making sure every machine can handle the intense pressure of a real, high-volume service. So what in the world is commissioning? Well, professionally, it's the systematic process of stress testing. You are deliberately pushing the equipment to its absolute limits before you have a single paying guest in the building. The goal here is to find every potential weakness, every possible point of failure, while the stakes are still low and the vendors are right there on site to fix it. Let's make this crystal clear, because it's a huge deal. A basic power on check, that just tells you if the lights come on. Commissioning, on the other hand, tells you if your oven can maintain a precise temperature for 2 hours straight while the door is being opened every 30 seconds. One guarantees it works, the other guarantees it works under pressure. And in our world, in hospitality, pressure is what defines success. With all the hardware tested and ready, we shift our focus to the digital core of the operation, the point of sale system, or POS. You could say if the kitchen is the heart of the back of a house, the POS is its financial and operational brain. And accuracy here is everything. The entire menu, every single item, every possible modifier, every price, it has to be perfect. User access levels need to be locked down to control who can apply discounts and prevent fraud. Kitchen routing must be flawless so the grill station isn't getting orders for salads. A single error in this digital brain can lead directly to financial loss or, just as bad, complete service chaos. And now we come to the final, ultimate test, The simulation. This is where we connect all the dots. We've installed the hardware, we've tested its performance, and we've programmed the digital brain. Now it's time to see if they can all work together as one single cohesive system. So this is the end-to-end flow in action. A server enters a fake order. Does it pop up instantly on the kitchen display? Yes. The chefs then prepare the item on the newly commissioned equipment. The check is paid for and closed out. But here's the most important part, the real moment of truth. We then run a financial report. Does the revenue from that one single theoretical order show up perfectly? If the answer is yes, you've validated the entire journey, from a guest's simple request all the way to the hotel's bottom line. So we'll end with this question for you to really think about. The pressure to open quickly, to start generating revenue, is always immense. But as we've just seen, this process demands incredible precision and discipline. As a future leader, how are you going to manage that tension? How will you defend the time it takes to do it right, knowing that taking a shortcut today could lead to a catastrophe tomorrow? That right there is the mark of a true hospitality professional.